driving in color. Thought I'd see if I catch anybody up in here. I know sometimes I come a little bit earlier. Today I'm in here just a tad bit earlier, touching on some different things. So we talking about, reading on some things, and there's some funny things right here. I'm reading about. I'm going to explore some of it. Once upon, I had to read this thing about Savage basketball facts. They talking about Horace Grant. Just reading some stuff. Talking about Anthony Edwards dunk. Just some things I'm just kind of digesting real quick. But we're going to see what's up. I don't know who's on. So I'm taking a little, quickie on here. I'll wait a while. I didn't really be able a chance to put nothing out, so we're going to see. Just reading some stuff. What's up? What's up? Just reading real quick. MGM is denying the Bruno Mars allegation. Oh, where to? I wonder where he's going. Yeah, I know the Bruno Mars things is real. Probably did. Yeah, well. Well, it's one of them things where it's almost inevitable. He's getting long in the tooth. I figured it was coming. I'm sure they're gonna make a move. Sure they're gonna make a move. I don't want that to happen. They get him, we're done. We're done. And I say that in all honesty because then Mahomes will definitely get 2 more rings. In easily. I know so. What you mean when you say you think so? To the part that we're done or that he'll get 2 more rings? Which part do you agreeing with? What part? What part did you agree with I said? Oh yeah. You get him? Because he's gonna play at least 5 or 6 years. They'll get 2 more rings with him. Oh yeah. You gotta remember something too. They haven't replaced Tyreek Hill. So you get a work for hire receiver who's hungry and is great and talented. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's 2 rings for sure. That's 2 rings. Oh yeah, I think Mahomes gonna definitely get 2 more rings before it's all said and done. I can see him getting 5 rings. I told you 1 or 2 things happens. He either get the 3-peat or he gets 5 rings, then he's the GOAT, as far as I'm concerned. Because 2 rings less than Brady will be the same equivalent. To me. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, then if he gets 8, then he's in Bill Russell territory. Then he's in a whole nother spectrum. So, you know, wow, 8 rings. Wow. So I just got to doing, I did the Paul Pierce video. It was a trip. Oh yeah, I had to eat his butt up. And I'm tired of that mess. I mean, you asked me last night, you came on here, you asked me, I said, that's exactly what I would say. I would get at him. I said, and I don't think much of JJ Redick. I watched him play. I remember his Duke career. I ain't missed nothing. I'm like, who did he become authority of discussing about careers? Calling people plumbers and janitors and car wash workers and all the dishwashers and stuff. I'm like, you ain't nothing special. Just because you walk around with that Elvis Presley, Ricky Nelson pompadour like you a 50, 60 singer, looking like Leave It to Beaver with a little stone on your face. I mean, come on now. No, he didn't. He was a scrub. You insulting that. You're making bums look bad when you say that. He was not no bum. He was a scrub. He just happened to hit some 3-pointers because Doc Rivers gave him a little bit of a career. I'm sorry. We're in an era now where if you're third tier, I'm gonna take this troll out because this ain't even funny. To have I told you about bums. When you look like you're good to great. When did he ever look like he was good to great? He was a never was. He was a scrub who had some got up to looking average. And is JJ Redick any better than Grayson Allen? I mean, really. So I take offense to that. He helped him. He kept his butt a job. That's what he did. Shoot. But JJ Redick ain't got no room. He can't talk about nobody. He's not Danny Ainge level. Okay? Please. He's not Jeff Hornacek level. Okay? I can name you some second tier white boys who would run JJ Redick's butt out the league. Okay? What do you think JJ Redick is? Ainge was a feisty, one of those guys who would try to taunt you and get you baited. That's what he did best. But he was one of those kind of dudes. It's kind of like Draymond who pops off because he knows he's got Stephen Clay behind him. Danny would do that because he had Bird and Ainge behind him in Parrish. So he would be pompous and act all smug. See, back in the day, they weren't saying, "Oh, you gonna be a Hall of Famer." "Oh, you gonna be," you didn't have no Danny Ainge statue outside. Won't be no Danny Ainge retiring no jersey. Wasn't all this craziness that you get today. You always had cats that would instigate stuff because they had big bullies behind them. They had the big boys behind them. So they go, yeah, man, yeah, yeah. Because their crew was behind them. Danny Ainge would have never pulled half the mess he pulled had he been playing for the Timberwolves or playing for the Bobcats or playing for the Wizards or the Bullets or somebody like that. He wouldn't have pulled the half of that mess. But you can get brazen and bad when you know you playing with a superstar because they're going to protect your butt. And see, but he was better than Redick, though. He was nauseating, but he was better than Redick. I tell you, JJ Redick need to go run up to Steph Curry. That's who he need to go run to. Steph's the reason why he got him a job. That's when that three ball started kicking in. I did a video on that. I did a video on that. You didn't see my video. I did a video on that. I covered that. I did that. You have to go back on my videos. I already did that. I didn't do anything about the Jordan at the left hand, but I touched on it, and I also touched on what Shaq said about Wilt and all that. I did two separate videos. I did that already. I covered that already. I didn't touch about the Jordan in the left hand. I didn't. I'm not gonna be just doing any old thing, but I covered that. I covered it also when I talked about how Cats came out and said that Chris Brown was a better dancer than Michael Jackson. That Mace said that. I covered all that. I did it. I did it. I haven't done it in movies, but I did it about basketball and I did it about mute that. So no, I didn't. I just talk about the Jordan thing. No, I don't. No, I mean no pet peeves about the early season. I don't really pay it a lot of attention. Baseball can be a fool's goal early if you let it. Sometimes you see certain teams. Now there are exceptions. There are certain teams they get hot early. They may be destiny, but some situations they ain't gonna last. So I don't really get into it. If somebody's batting 400, I don't, there's certain things that they do come to pass. Like if a certain team is doing really good early, pitching, that's one thing. But it's once in a blue, something sticks. But I don't put a lot of stock in it. He was overdue. And Devin Hester was kind of like the Mike Tyson of kickoff return, man. Let me explain. Used to have food parties back in the day. and Mike Tyson fights would be on, and we were getting food, and the fights be over before the time you sit down. And Devin Hester, I'd be ready to get a sandwich. He ran a kickback. Remember he did in that Super Bowl against Indianapolis. I hadn't even got my sandwich finished up. 7-6-0. I'm like, this guy. He was that quick, and he was bad. He's one of the greatest kickoff returners ever. One of the most electrifying. Bad. And it was long overdue. Long overdue. And guy could run routes too as a receiver. They gonna be picky about that because it depends on who they want. You know, it's picky. Oh, Vinatieri, definitely. I made the case that Vinatieri was arguably the next most important player to Brady in the early. Oh, you mentioned Tyler. I'm talking on the offensive side. On the offensive side, he was the next most important player to Brady during that first initial run. He was. Because Troy Brown wasn't getting the Hall of Fame, and Corey Dillon wasn't either. But Vinatieri, oh yeah. Gary Anderson, that's the name you don't hear ever mention no more. That was a bad kicker. Yeah. Yeah, if you were a great kicker and you had great moments, there should not be no questions asked. You know, that's all. I agree with you on that. Well, let me tell you about this one right here, right? These kickers today are like these basketball players who can't shoot anything within 12 feet. They can shoot threes, but they can't shoot no fadeaway 10-foot shot. A lot of these kickers can kick 50, 60-yard kicks. They can't make extra points. What the heck then happened? What happened? And it happens a lot. Didn't it just happen in this Super Bowl? See, missing these chippies, that's the difference. And that's what's going on a lot. Missing these chippies. Mm-hmm. That's the difference right there. And Kansas City just happens to have one of the best kickers going today, Harrison Barnes. He's almost like clockwork. So what did you find out about Diggs? Because I haven't heard anything, but you must have had something around to find out. I hadn't heard nothing. But I'm not surprised though. They're not really being aggressive right now. They need to be. They need to do something. I don't know why they sleep on their morals. Ain't no time to have no mores when your team sucks. As far as getting to the next level, you're good enough to win a division banner and get to the playoffs, but you ain't no threat. Yeah, he ain't Mason Crosby. I mean, that's a fact. But that's not why y'all lost to Frisco. But I don't even think teams care about kickers like they did. I mean, they guys kicking long field goals, but they missing extra points like crazy. I mean, eh, it's a stressful job, but still. Yeah, you probably will get it though. You'll get it. Sure, y'all pick that up though. Probably pick that up too. No. And if he does come back, he's not going to be Super Bowl ready like they think he's going to be. I'm sorry, but he got ghostly sacked on his butt. Like he pulled something and his butt was out for the whole year. I mean, was his jock strap on too tight? I mean, did he stretch it? Because that's basically what happened. I mean, his butt fell to the surface. He didn't even get touched. His body breaking down. He should retire. But that whole mess about him running with Kennedy, which I did a video on, is hilarious because I'm like, then they told him not to do it. But his mind is wandering about different things. He's not always focused on football. So I'm not surprised. But yeah, he should retire. Excuse me, he should retire. Yeah, he can be a hippie, but he just it's just not there. You know, I mean, he gonna for real get hurt for real. And I don't know if the Jets got enough offense to cover his behind. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that. I think that was kind of surprising. Kind of surprising. I like him too. He is, but you forget about it because he's been on such crappy teams that have underachieved. I like Keenan Allen a lot, but because the Chargers haven't done much, you forget that he's close to that. And when you go from a team that has a top tier quarterback but plays like low case levels on offense, because Staley was a horrible coach, and now you're going to the Bears where you're hoping a kid will come along and it can make you be forgotten. He should be regarded to what you're saying, but look at where he's going. He's going from a penthouse that ended up looking like an outhouse to now to an outhouse that is an unknown house. And for a guy like that, he should have been playing with a Mahomes. He should have been playing with a Josh Allen. He should have been playing with a Aaron Rodgers, with a Tom Brady. Should have had, because basically, like Mike Evans, Keenan Allen would have had that kind of run and trajectory. And it's sadly going to be kind of forgotten because they have underachieved and they didn't really get the best out of him. Yeah, I think it's because he has to pretty much start at the basement to get to the top. He wants to build his own way. And he's not, I get it. He's not trying to be a coach that just comes in and rides that for 2 or 3 years, because if he does that, it's fool's gold. Herbert has to have the right, you know. I get it. That might mean they suck for a year or two. But then when they start to win, you know, some people are going to think he's trying to throw away his stuff now because he is scared of Mahomes. There might be some truth to that. They're not going to dethrone Mahomes the first year or two. Mm-mm. And what happened in Michigan took about 5, 6 years. I imagine it would take that in the Charger land. There's a lot of things you have to do because NFL is a different animal. It's a different animal. So yes, those growing pains. LA's a big market. Well, it depends on what kind of what it can attract. It depends. I'm sure he will attract something for Harbaugh with Herbert. Sure they will. They have to, because the Rams kick their butt right now. Sean McVay's got a hot ticket. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He got a ring. Chargers ain't got past the first round, I don't think, since Herbert's been there. So there you go. They got a lot to work on. McVay's a good coach. Could be better. You know that's actually a smart move. That's a smart move. And you knew he was gonna get him a job again. West Coast boy. Ain't that something how he played for all 3 teams? Because I know it's all on the West Coast, even though the Raiders are in Vegas. Ain't that something? Like if they could find another team in California, he'd be there too. Maybe the Chargers. See how that worked out? Jimmy G in the sunshine. He gonna fit good with McVay too. He gonna fit in good because he's got a lot of upside to him. He just ain't a starter, and when you put him on a situation where he has to build up, it's not a good look. That's why the Raiders were a disaster for him. But I'm ready to made for teams when all he has to do is, excuse me, do what he does best. He's a good fit. That's a good move. That's a good move. That's a good move. He wasn't going nowhere else. Lord knows he wasn't gonna go to Cleveland. Oh, he's got mad crossover appeal. But you see, if you ever watched the TV show Happy Days, I always called Jimmy G Scott Baio. I called him Chachi because he wasn't the Fonz. He was the Fonz's cousin, and he could appear cool, but he wasn't the Fonz. That's Jimmy G. Brady was the Fonz, and he was Chachi. And there's a gap between Chachi and the Fonz. That's Jimmy G. Because like that pass he overthrew to Emmanuel Sanders, I don't know nobody could overthrow Emmanuel Sanders, and Emmanuel Sanders can run down anything pretty much. That was a fast cat. He never was the same after that pass. Hasn't been the same. That's why he's on his what? Now he's on his what? His third different team in 3 years. There you go. He was in pressure. Jimmy G had every. See, you said he got it, but he didn't finish. And when he got a hit, it wasn't finished. And his career hasn't been the same since. Mm-mm. 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 They got tired of him in Frisco. And then he got benched in the Raiders, and then he'll do all right with the Rams, though. But now he's a work for hire. It's like you forget about him. Yeah, people can say what they want to say about Cap, but Cap came up. You know, Jimmy G had won that Super Bowl, he'd be like Joe Namath. That don't count. Almost sound like Michael Jordan told Tyronn Lue, that don't count. I care about his ring with New England. I could have sat on the bench and got a ring with New England. You could have too. What you want me to do? No, that don't count. The ball boy got a ring too. What's your point? You know, that's not what's carrying him. That's not what's carrying him. He was a pretty good fit in New England. Excuse me, but he just ain't carried over. It ain't carried over. That ain't gonna save them. Diggs ain't the answer there. See, Pittsburgh needs a meaty. They missing something else. It ain't just that. And Justin Fields is gonna get that job, and they will be all right. But I'm not buying them coming out that division. They're not beating Baltimore, but they're gonna be a problem. I think they better be, unless Diggs is erratic, and Russell goes to the dumpers. You know, you know, part of me would say there's some. If you can do this China career, it's not comical in the sense that Marbury was a 20-8 man for a few years. He actually had some impact. And let me be realistic why it's not all the way a bad take. The NBA is not like baseball or football that they go, well, the NBA is not like football and baseball. Usually, you gotta be, a certain level. The NBA, almost anybody can get in the Hall of Fame. So that's not too far off. He was great in high school. He had 20-8s in the NBA for a while. Brimtown, what's up? But Zeke, it's not offensive. I might not agree with him, like you probably don't. Do you agree with what he said? I might not agree with it, but I can't write it off as being crazy. What's up, player? How you living? Holla at your boy. What's up? So Ted, do you think he's a Hall of Famer or not? Do you think it's comical, or do you think there's some validity? Because if you know about the NBA, they don't always go by. Yeah, I may not agree with him, but I don't think it's off the wall. You don't find it funny though, do you? I mean, you're not offended by it, are you? Are you offended by it? I like him, but I got to see where he goes to. I got to see who drafts him. I got to see the pieces he's got. You see, I think he got a chance to be good, but I got to see where he goes. If you're going to Chicago with Keenan Allen, that's a good start. No, it's not comical. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not. I'm not offended by it. I might scratch my head and have to think, but then again, they put some people in that Hall of Fame that are kind of, you know, they're a little bit more lax. But I don't think he's gonna get in. Marbury ain't gonna get in the same reason why Kyrie may not get in. Ticked off the wrong white folk. Because Marbury didn't say some stuff, and that's the reason why he got ran out the NBA. And David Stern ran him out. And Adam Silver ain't never let him back in. I talk about this all the time. I told you they got certain Negroes. You fall out of line with them. Look at DeMarcus Cousins. Oh, you think I haven't touched it? I think Two Raw touched it. I ain't touched it. But there's a reason why Boogie's not in the league. And Boogie, he did. And Stephen A's got a lot of clout. That's why I love when Kwame Brown unloads at him every chance he gets. But I know how Stephen A gets down. People don't really understand how these guys talk subliminal, and then they don't talk subliminal, and then they can dictate a lot of stuff. You'd be surprised what they saying. But yeah, Broom, the Caleb got a chance. I got to see where he go. Got to see what the situation is like. Yeah, I like his game. All right. I like his game. All right. Again, I got to see where he go. A lot of times it's systematic. We're gonna see what happens. He's an advantage right now. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. You find that out. That's what this whole thing is about, dissing past generations. That's why JJ Redick can come out and say what he says. That's what they want people to do. They want them to disrespect anything that was beforehand. That's why guys like that keep a job. But I like that. Lasers and microphones, B&M. That's true. You're not lying. It is, because words are a powerful force and tool. And they have people that say things that they want them to speak into. And the average head doesn't take time to really question it until it kind of, you have those moments when you get kind of wobbly. But what did they just say? So, yeah, yeah. And he didn't take consideration that Bosch was an integral part of the team. A lot of them didn't, you know. A lot of them downplayed him, but they don't downplay him no more. Because not only is a Hall of Famer and what he went through with his health, they also saw that when we talking about LeBron James, you need another wheel to complement another wheel, to complement the other wheel. And he sacrificed a lot. That's why I say he was the most important player that LeBron played with. I didn't say the best and I didn't say the most, but the most important. And see, there's a difference. Most important, Bosch. I like She more than most, but Bosch got the most out of his career. She, to me, was a guy who was very good. Should have been great. Much as I like Sheed a lot, he kind of bummed a little bit for me because he could have been a great player. He could have been mentioned in the same likes with Garnett, with Duncan, with Carmelo, with Barkley, because he was scary versatile. He could guard different positions and he could shoot from top of the key and post up. He was that good, but he settled. See, settle is a nice, friendly way of saying a bum, too. Settling. When you become a settler, you get comfortable. He ain't got heavy, but he also just didn't put a lot of, he didn't want to be the dude. He didn't want to be the dude. And we didn't get him all of it out of him, you know. Now listen, he's my favorite basketball player to hear talk trash post, if you want to know. And I told you before, Skip ever brought him on TV. He wouldn't last long, but that would be must see TV. Oh boy. That would be must see TV. Cause she can talk with the best of them, and he's funny, he's entertaining, got stories. I don't, But now on his career, Bosch was a double double man, and Bosch got things out. Bosch was you know, she played a part, and he did his role, and he was like I said. But I wish he had a gone at it. They know he wouldn't, because first of all, she and Charles would clash. It'd be hilarious. It'd be hilarious. Because there's some things Charles says that she wouldn't clap for, and plus he ain't gonna be softy for Ernie. And she would be more aggressive than Shaq. And have a direct take like Kenny the Jet would be just, you know. Now they wouldn't. You want to see him though. You want to see him. Oh, yeah. Well, yes and no. It works because he can be as vulgar and talk all the trash he wants, but no, it wouldn't work because Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson ain't in Sheed's universe. Steven Jackson had bum moments. He could have been better than he was, but he was never like she to me, where I see a guy that could have been a Hall of Famer. I don't feel Steven Jackson was going to be a Hall of Famer. And Matt Barnes is a never was. Only thing he's known for is that pump fake against Kobe. Like he's going to throw the ball. What else did he do? Studio Thug 101. Now, it would work because of the freestyle of talking trash you want, but she is too deep for them now. And once you get through smoking the joints and talking trash, what else they got? She's got conversation. She can go on different angles. No, no. I tell you an unlikely duo, which would be hilarious, would be like Rasheed Wallace and Karl Malone. That would be funny. Because Carl's side ain't came out. And then you could actually have like Isaiah Thomas as the mediator, which would be hilarious. You know, I bring some real folks to life who would talk that talk. Yep. See what I mean? You got to think like outside the box. That's how I think. Well, I'd welcome that. You didn't see that coming. I like this show because I can say stuff which like I do. When you catch me on the live stream, I don't put this in my regular videos. Now, see, I'm proof that you can have a live stream and get your point across and try different things, but you got to say it in a way. But yeah, I would make that happen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Put Sheed and Carmelo and let Zeke be the mediator. That'd be off the chain. Be off the chain. Yeah, I seen them on Jalen got something to say too. Jalen was dissing the ESPN brass. Um, yeah. Weber was entertaining. I saw him and Gary Payton did some show some years ago. Jalen is good for TV. He should have a job again. He did without trying hard. Without trying hard. He did. Yeah, but it would only be limited to football, or it wouldn't be to everything. But the football, yeah, give him a topic to work on. Remember, it took me a while to appreciate Rex Ryan because as a coach, he was obnoxious. He talked too much trash for a guy that wasn't going to win nothing. So, you know, but I like him as a commentator. He is funny now. I don't see Brett Favre getting no TV gig. Romo, yeah. Romo, nah. Peyton's funny, but he ain't Shannon Sharp funny. And Peyton has to have somebody. Oh, Peyton and Dion would be funny. Peyton and Dion would be funny. It would. Yeah. I like him too, because he's kind of got his own lane. He's knowledgeable. He has a good sense of humor. It's a nice balance. I and that's where he fits. But I can't really say I like his voice and he articulates well. Can't really say more than that. But he's good at what he does. He's good. He's good. He's underrated actually because you don't really hear his name called much, and he doesn't sit there and shuffle all the time. So yeah, Brewski is tight. He's good. Yeah. Oh, well, he's a good broadcaster. He does pretty good. Teddy's a cool. He's good for what he do. You know. No, he's annoying, and he. You don't give it to Al Michaels for that turkey. I mean, come on now. But Collinsworth's a suck up, so that's what they like. Yeah, it's one of those situations where a guy was great for so long, but then he gets kind of long in the tooth, and he needs to know when to say when. I agree. You know, he was great. Caught a lot of ranges too. Yeah, true. Sure did. She got bored. Some will put you to sleep. Yeah, Zeke is good. As an announcer, yeah, I mean he's good. He's got good commentary. He ain't gonna never get no more position in the league, but he's got good commentary. Yeah, but they're not gonna trying to trick him off. They don't want him no more jobs. He ain't getting no more jobs though. Mm, I think Doc. I think Doc. He can be as good as Doc, but I think Zeke should get more opportunities to be a coach and stuff in the league. I got a problem with that. But no. Yeah, I like the topics he talks on. It's very classy. It's not tacky. It's direct. I like his take on Zion too. I don't know if you got to see that one where he said, "Oh, you want to be an all-star? I mean, you want to end in your." Yeah, I like it. I like what he did. I think it was real cool. You know, so I agree with him on that. I don't know. We shall see. No, he didn't shuffle, but he was crossover though too. However, they'll call him a Bible thumper, and then that's why they want to mess with him. That's why he can't get no job. And he got a little perv in him too, but that's another story though. Reggie was good. Reggie was good. Um, Now he's bought and paid for a corporate man at forgot what black college it is, but I saw it. I think it's in DC, I think. No, they wouldn't. Karl Malone would, not Michael Jordan. Jordan's always been like in the third person and come across smug and arrogant. His interviews ain't never really. I wouldn't want to see him behind the mic talking. No, there are people I don't want to have them in the studio talking. He's one of them. You want to ask me the ones I don't want to see in the comment in the studio? He comes near the top of the list. Just doesn't really translate, you know. Because the whole thing with him and Ahmad Rashad pretty much told me all I need to know. You're not gonna get anything with him, and come along would be because to me it's just no, I'm not. He's one of them that I wouldn't want to see up there. I wouldn't want to see Magic up there because Magic couldn't talk. I wouldn't want to see Larry Bird up there. He's actually too political size with him. You know, cats I want to see would be the real bad boys and say crazy stuff. So no, I never really care for his commentary. You know, I just don't, because I saw the interview and he's kind of like, let guys be great and all this. And I'm like, I never got no, he didn't get that trash talking like he did. He different guy. I wouldn't want to see him or Magic or those guys. No, he doesn't know how to articulate the right way. He talks like he's eating baked potatoes. Then never get him to look up. Yeah. Yeah. Amber wouldn't make it too tough. I had to think there for a moment about that one, but no. No. They got to do something because the embarrassment of what is happening with guys. You know, you chuck enough, you get 20 damn points. You know, but it's just gotten out of hand, and it's been deplorable basketball. So that's how I look at that. Now for me, I can hear him now. Oh, they're throwing the ball in. No, no. He might. He might. He might. He might. I couldn't see Dikembe doing it. No, no, no. I couldn't see Elijah one doing it either. Actually, he does have a good voice for doing it, but I wouldn't see him doing it. But Ray Allen, I can see doing some kind of production. He had me shocked last season. Well, I was talking about him as a broadcast. I wasn't saying anything about him as a player. Yeah, he would be over Clay. An argument there. An argument there. Yeah, I really don't even comment on the stuff. I mean, I let other people do it, but I mean, you know, I appreciate everybody that comes through, put a lot of work into it, and Lord knows you have to be really dedicated and you appreciate, you know, thank you, Kareem. I mean, it's a lot of work because you know, videos, commentary, filtering things, it takes time. But anything that's worth it is worth the wait, and so it takes time. He doesn't make me mad. Gilbert Arenas be making me think of Kanye. Have you heard the latest though about Gilbert? Have you heard the latest about Gilbert with what's it? Saucy Santana. Have you seen that? If you haven't seen it, peep it out. I think Saucy Santana was gyrating in the video, and it was Gilbert Arenas and Nick Young. And apparently, Gilbert, this thing is okay. Have you all ever heard of Storm Monroe? He does black gossip, commentates on sports as well. Not a lot, not a lot, because he's not really a sports cat, but it's more about the entertainment business and actors and movies, and especially in. Well, I'm gonna get to that. Have you heard of Storm Monroe? Type in Storm Monroe. He did a live stream last night. Storm did. Gilbert was the feature. Gilbert paid him $40. He donated to his app, and they was talking about the whole thing with Saucy Montana and Nick Young. You got to peep it out. It's hilarious. Yeah, apparently there was a story going that back in the day that Gilbert, well, what's his Bacala with Gilbert? They had the thing with the guns in Washington when old boy got kicked off the team, and the story goes, so allegedly they tried to say it was about what set the brawl off. The brawl was apparently behind a Starburst crew dude. And they trying to say Gilbert. Yeah, it's a crazy story. I was watching it last night before I went to sleep. I cracked up by watching. Peep out all black content creators and different subject matters because this takes the whole world to make go around. And yeah, apparently Gilbert and Nick, yeah, there was this joke going around. Yeah, you have to watch that thing. I mean, I was dying. Gilbert donated to the Cash App twice. He be giving me Kanye vibes because I mean he just trolls so much. And the stuff that he says and the things that he does, but apparently there was some Starburst things, some not just Starburst, but RuPaul in it. The RuPaul Starburst version. The RuPaul Starburst version is not like just your Starburst, it's RuPaul. Then you feel in what you see. That's what's up. I didn't touch that in no video, but I watched that thing last night. Because I only talk about the stuff that he says about basketball. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, Agent Zero, he gives me different vibes. Sometimes he's all slurping LeBron. He says different things. But I see why Kwame got in his guts though. And Gilbert, man, I just be feeling like Kanye. It's kind of like the Kanye thing. You can't tell what's a troll, and you can't tell what he's been rolling as a joint. But you know you're gonna get something that's gonna be kind of out there. There'll be a lot of different takes. I don't really partake in a lot of them because, again, you got to catch me with something that you would say. A lot of times we get excited because so and so got a podcast, and we think, oh, he don't say, and they don't say nothing, or they say something that's either scripted or they say something that is off the wall. Gilbert's different because he'll say real anything and hope something sticks in the dark. You know, he hopes. I like it when he makes sense at times, but he never had a career that I could sit there and he played with great players, but I can't sit there and take him too serious because he still be trying to run that smoke on folks. That's my problem with Matt Barnes. So a lot of these cats act like I forgot how their games went. Like they act like because I ain't seen them. Well, you weren't that memorable like that. You didn't have that kind of career. It's just like some of the music artists that talk, like right now I heard that Omarion is having ticket sale problems. I said, well, you're not that memorable because outside of B2K, you had a couple okay, cute songs, but your prime and your peak was 20 years ago. You a song and dance dude. Chris Brown came past you up. Usher was there where you never could see Usher. So you're not that memorable. It happens in sports too. And cats act like you don't. Well, yeah, he's bought and paid for. He bought and paid for. Wherever way the sun goes is where he go. I don't waste my time with them cats. Now when they have Magic on the show or my do Raul or somebody that I like, okay, I'll watch. But just generally speaking, I'm not wasting my time with them turkeys. I just want the cliff notes and I'm good. I don't really want to waste my time watching these cats talk. Because for one, I wasn't feeling their NBA careers like that. For two, they trying to promote an agenda which makes them sound like they're counter to the NBA, but yet they're very much on the payroll. They would give up their left pinky to get in. That ain't gonna happen. First of all, I know Skip prides himself from Vanderbilt like he's some intellectual, but he would get schooled by a Durov. And second of all, they'll never have a black man that actually has dignity, quality, sense of character to be on a trash but show that all they do is slurp and don't even really get into the fundamentals and don't really get they selective with certain topics, but they don't really stay enlightened and educated. That's gonna be beneath our Duro, you know. Nobody that's worth it will be on there. Duro's got a story to tell because he got whiteballed by the NBA. And Adam Silver is no different than David Stern because he won't even give out Duro for nothing. You know. So they can't talk about racism when they don't even acknowledge. That would be interesting for about until the first time Gary goes and slap him upside his head. That ain't gonna last. They'll never have nobody like that on this show. You know who else wouldn't be on Skip's show, but it would be worth watching? You know who would be really worth watching on Skip? He gets on my nerves a bit because he be just still trying to pull that old bully vibe, but he's intellectual. But he be getting on my nerves. But I got respect. Charles Oakley. You put Oakley with Skip. Mm, some slaps will be heard. See, I know how this go. I know who to say and what not to say. That's why when I do these live streams, we throw these ideas out. I'm gonna say the money name, but it ain't gonna come to pass. I'm gonna say the money name, but it ain't gonna come to pass because you know why. And Oakley is an equal politician for Jordan and LeBron, but he does it in a way where no, no. CP3 is bought and paid for. He ain't no threat. He should consider going ahead and get a podcast going because his NBA career is definitely at the end, but no. Now, you know who you'd really like to see with Skip? That's a guard, James Harden. Now, that would be funny. That would be hilarious. Because minute Skip says, how come you always take off in the postseason and you just kind of AWOL? That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. James Harden would be hilarious. Having to answer why he didn't Why he became a bum in the postseason. You want to talk about the ultimate bum? There you go. There you go. The real number three, James Harden. Why he becomes such a bum? Why he don't fulfill what he could have been? That would be compelling. That's compelling. I'm just saying. You know, you want some compelling, there you go. I tried to bring it to you. You didn't hear me though, but I'm just trying to tell you that I know some shows that would be off the chain. Now, Kemp, he talked like an old drunk, like at the bar, but he never was really that biting. He wouldn't be biting. Sheed and Karl Malone would be hilarious. Kemp, no, no. Mm-mm. Now, Stephon Marbury would be entertainer. He'd have some interesting takes. And you know who else would be interesting? They did do something together on TV, but Kid's a corporate man. He ain't gonna say nothing off. And Gary, they ain't gonna wreck that up. Vernon Maxwell, if you could find him, he would be entertaining. No, Kid ain't gonna wreck his bag. But they got that Bay Area already. No, there's a handful of them that I would say would definitely fit the criteria. Oh yeah, by the way, in case you ain't seen it, you need to type it in. They say Horace Grant's already slurping up to Jordan. I don't see what's that thing on.
I guess the no ball tour has flopped. It's now Horace Grant, and Scottie Pippen back to kissing Michael Jordan's ass. Makes me wonder.
There you go.
Jordan sent over a secret check to this.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard that. I had gotten this one just got sent to me. So what I don't, sometimes I'll share this with you because you come on every time. And I have different spots that I follow. And then of course there's stuff that I do in my videos that I can't possibly because I would be half my day just doing videos and I got stuff to do. But I get stuff sent to me and then it comes to me and then I'm like, oh wow, that was a story I could have. But yeah, don't say that because you heard about Wayne Brady? Wayne Brady saying he's pansexual. Let me go find this one. Since you said that, let me go find this for you. Where is it at? Let me see if I can find it. You said Wayne Brady? That's his latest outfit. This was at some award show. If you saw it, let me know. That's his latest picture. See, he came out and said that he pansexual or something. I don't know. I don't know what Wayne talking about. Yeah, I saw that mess. I was cracking up. I was cracking up. I'm like, okay, Wayne. Well, no. I watched him on Let's Make a Deal. I guess he took that seriously. He took Let's Make a Deal to heart. I don't know. Anyway, Horace didn't flip flop bad. Um, I saw that a few years ago. I got a funny story. So my aunt, she died about a couple of years ago. And she was only in her early 60s. But she grew up a certain way with Billy D. Williams because the women loved Billy D. Williams' hair and his image because a good looking dude back in the day. Billy D was smooth and groomed. When I told her that he was talking about he was fluid, she's like, "Oh, all that good hair going to what?" Yeah, it was. He had to read, and he came back and he said, "I was misquoted." I'm like, "Uh huh." Talking about he misquoted. I said, "Yeah, you sit there talking about you gender fluid. They thinking they start having nightmares." Cause Billy had old school women who, Billy was the dude back in the day. After Portier and before Denzel, he was that dude. And when he said that gender fluid, oh man, he said that mess. And he gonna try to say because he old. Well, he is in his 90s now. So blame it. But I believed you the first time. Got me kind of wondering because I remember I did a video about um Demont Wilson who played Lamont Sanford on Sanford Son, Demont Wilson, the minister. And he did say in the video, he said, the bend over Billies. Said the bend over Billy. I bet your mom was. I'm telling you, women of a certain age and range used to look at Billy D and that hair and that groom. And when he said that, they like the look of horror. So then he said he didn't really mean what he said. I'm like, okay. But when Demond Wilson said bend over Billy's, I was like, wrong, wrong. I don't know. I was like, you sound kind of believable, Billy. I don't know. Try to see what this chick looks like. He was Motown crossover. You know, I think he knew being considered a pretty boy, he was gonna get certain type of roles, and I mean, if he was white, they'd have made him a model. They would have had him, you know. He did say Marlon Brando tried to hit on him, cracked me up. I said Brando tried to hit on everything. I don't think if Marlon Brando, if you had a mailbox, you had to put a lock on it, because Marlon was a freak, cracked me up. But yeah, I like Billy D back in the day. I mean, he did Star Wars. I mean, Later Sings the Blues, Mahogany. Bingo Long and the Traveling All Stars. Have you ever seen that baseball movie? He was really good. I like that a lot. And of course Brian's song. I watched all his. They tried to make him into the black exploitation action hero. That didn't quite fly. You know, he and he didn't quite have the demeanor of Denzel, and he didn't quite have uh he didn't have the grit of Calvin Lockhart, and he didn't have the sophistication of Portier. He had a vibe about him. I remember when he did was it what's that one he did was Sylvester Stallone? I forgot now. They both playing cops. And they tried to add some street appeal to him. I mean, he was, good at what he did. It's kind of like a less media version of Michael B. Jordan. It's kind of like they have black actors that they have for imagery. That's another thing that Hollywood does. Smokey did. He did. But he didn't really, like, he had hits, right? And he had a good vibe, but yet he didn't quite, he never quite, I don't think the albums, I think people looked at him as a singles artist. He wrote great songs for others and he wrote great songs, but it didn't collectively, it was still like a black thing in a way, believe it or not, because he didn't have the jump off that Marvin and Stevie had. It's interesting, you know. And I don't know because people didn't quite get into him straight as a solo artist more so. Songs took off and his voice was there. So it's an interesting anomaly when you think about it. I know what you're saying though. Because I agree. He he was down home folk black, but he didn't scare white folk. They still bought him. They went to his shows predominantly. I mean, if you go to B.B. King shows, more white, and those B.B. King clubs were white ran. But I know what you mean because it's like his thing was predominantly for black, and it had to resonate. And he definitely had down home folks, but he was big. I know what you mean because usually most blues acts stay straight black. His did have crossover, but it happened as he got older. You know, he had crossover though. Cardi B talking about she's worth $80 billion. That's hilarious. Had to read this mess. Industry probably made about 80 million off her. She's a hustler, but she ain't worth no $80 million. She tripping. You know, she she ain't worth no 80 million. She done good for herself, but she ain't worth no 80 million. Uh, So the Shaka Khan thing, let me address that. Yes and no. The Rufus stuff, yes, it hit. And her solo stuff, she worked with David Foster, Arif Mardin, who was the producer, and it hit. But she wasn't like Whitney. No. Her thing, it was black. It was kind of like what I call so white folks are yuppies, black folks are buppies. So it was almost buppified, but it was because of the songs, but it wasn't like she had this big solo career. She's her vocals and her impact, but she wasn't like it wasn't like that gigantic big. She wasn't like Whitney. Whitney was a household name. Shaka was, but that took a lot more time and work. She wasn't big like Whitney. We were probably in Europe, but not in America, not in the States, not like that. That took work. Whitney was a household name. There's a reason why Whitney is usually lumped with Aretha Franklin. Just saying. So there's a difference. There's a difference. Mary J. It came all at once. It came all at once. Um, her artistry, that was she was big. So she had the street, she and it worked. J Hud, because of the film, the Oscar, the award shows, it's not the same. J Hud was more industry planted, and they still haven't found that song for her. Latifah come from a different era with hip hop. She was involved with TV. She was involved with film. So she had a lot of. They were three different types. It's interesting. They're all three different types of how they big blew up. J Hud did it from the Broadway, did a movie perspective. That thing. Mary strictly from the music perspective. Latifah multiple because she did modeling, TV, music, film. She did the whole nine. So it's different types of crossover. Now you ask me who's big of the three. It's probably I want to say J Hud right now. She did. She's an all fan. Well, because that whole thing with Timber Fake, that she got whiteballed for like 15, 20 years. They just let her out of Entertainment House jail like 10 years ago. Really. She really paid a price. She paid a big price. She had a long career though. I mean, when you factor in that she was in Good Times and she did Different Strokes and she did Fame and then she did movies and she had her recording career. So if we go all the way up from what 78 to about '04, there you go. She was 20 plus years deep before they went white ball on her for kept her down for about a good 6, 7 years, but she had a long run. She had a long run. She did have a long run. I don't know how much longer you want when you got the last name Jackson, and then she hit with her solo career and she had film and TV. I mean, she had a long career. She still tours right now. It's just that if you're talking about before the whole thing with this is a good one here. Now this is the best one you mentioned. He's a top 5 actor as far as talent, but he tended to say stuff that he messed white folks up. He messed himself up because he would say stuff. He said he ain't about the Starburst crew. And he questioned some of his. Yeah, it works, but does it really work? I mean, really, what light skin? I mean, you can make an argument for oh God, what's his name? What's his name? Black actor, light skinned cat. Um, come on now. There's some light skinned, black skinned actors. What's his name? He's done some pretty big movies. Um, oh God, he was in a big movie recently. Oh God, I can't even think his name. But see, Terrence did have like it roles. He just, you know, can't think of his name right now. Let me go look him up real quick. Yeah, well, yeah. That's a different thing with sports. I mean, sports, if you're marketable and you're dominant and they like you, then there'll be a 2+ for you. But she still had backlash. But yeah, because she was so dominant. Serena Diaz. Let me see if I can find this guy. Let's see. This is who I'm talking about. Jeffrey Wright. That's who I was trying to tell you about. So yeah, he's a good actor. Let's see, light skinned cat. But see, he plays what I call real roles though. It's not like he does uh he's a good actor. But see, Terrence had a chance, said some stuff, and he had a good chance. I thought Terrence should have played Rick James in a movie years ago. I think if he could have pulled that off in the early O's, it could have been just as important as Ray was to Jamie Foxx. Because Terrence was in a lot of movies that just didn't get green. There's a lot of stuff that didn't end up, you know. And of course, Empire was bigger, and of course, Hustle and Flow. Not really. Not really, I'm gonna tell you, because I tell you, rappers are some of the best actors. You gotta remember, if I'm in the studio and I'm like, yo, yo, I'm gonna blow you up, bang, bang. I create a facade and a persona. That's old Hollywood. He, oh, you weren't, okay. I'm talking to you like you were on this one thread I was on. So follow me. I was dealing with this person. We was talking about, I said Ice-T and Prince had an influence on Tupac. I said they both were able to contradict and appeal to both black and white audiences. And I said, and Ice and Tupac took from both of that. I said, Ice T was banging and slanging the West Coast, but he was an East Coast dude, okay? Because he started off in the movie Breaking. He was a pop rapper. 6 in the Morning changed. They got out to West Coast, and remember his ex girl was on the cover of the Power album cover, which we used to love back in the day. She works for Corey Holcomb. What's her name? Starts with the D. Can't even think of her name now, but you remember the album cover. She's with Corey Holcomb in this show. Anyway, Darlene, that's her name, Darlene. Look up Darlene and get back to me. So I said the contradiction and the crossover and that blend that they did. I said Ice T was a dude that, on one hand, he spoke out against the cops. On the other hand, he played a cop. On one hand, he was slanging and banging. On the other hand, he was talking about give peace a chance. So it was a good rotation of contradiction. So I said about Prince too, and then I talked about how Pac was inspired by both. So no, when I saw him in New Jack City, it worked, but he did OG Original Gangster. He had a balance of gift or gab to put those barriers. He worked both sides of the fence, and it worked for him. So that's what made Ice T get over. You know, that's what I was talking about. So I wasn't surprised that he was successful. I wasn't surprised. I thought right place, right time, and you know, he didn't have the music. He had the rock star persona down pat. He had the look, but he didn't have the music. I'm sorry, but the Prince, Rick James, I'm on crack vibe with a Jackson 5 nod. He wore his influences on his sleeve. He played the rock god cat, the exotic Negro male, but he didn't have the songs. He was big on white rock radio. He just didn't have the material. That's what hurt him, and oh, he did great though. First of all, the guy had multi-platinum albums. He won like Grammys. He won awards, but if you're asking me far as respect, if we're talking about respect, no, he'll never be held like Prince was or Michael or Rick James. He won't be held like that because he was always seen as a dude that or is it like he came across a what's the term I'm trying to say? He was a um God, what's the term I want to use? Um, Poser. That's it. That's how they would describe him, as a poser, faking the funk. I still remember when this turkey was talking about he's gonna make this funk album he's been working on for like 50 years. I'm like, I ain't heard it yet, Lenny. Poser. Oh, but in his defense, he did do good. I mean, White Rock Radio. In White Rock Radio, he stayed getting played. I mean, they ate him up. He had big rock radio. Are you gonna go my way? You know, um, Get Away, Fly Away was a big song. American Woman remake. I mean, he hit again was a big song. I mean, he had big hits. Yeah, what's up? What's up? Lenny was big. He just didn't have. I know what you're trying to say. He didn't get that full. Let's say he didn't get the full Purple Rain thrill out of him. He didn't get that out of him because he didn't have the goods. That's all. He had the pose, he had the look, and he had a couple songs that hit, but he didn't really get it all out because he just didn't have the goods. That's what it come down to. And you got to have the talent. And I'm gonna tell you something. Audiences back then were a lot more tougher than today. They were a lot tougher back then. And he did hit with his audience, but he didn't hit like, yeah, he didn't hit like where, I know what you're saying, you know, because if he had that cut that you could bump to, he may have had a Bruno Mars run in him. And he didn't have Bruno run. He had big hits. He did. He sold records, but it wasn't like, you know, not like that. Not that moment where you go, okay. He's just now being nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination. And considering his connections and uh, you know, you shocked he did do more movies? Well, he was only gonna be in like action movies. He wasn't gonna be no leading actor. And he was gonna be kind of like a basketball version of what The Rock was, except with with a more flamboyant vibe. He crossed over. They just didn't really, they didn't have a big lane for him. He did cross over though. He crossed over. They would be. It depends on what kind of mood Rodman was in. And he talked that craziness about Larry Bird only be good to play in Europe. Skip would look at him crazy. He would break down. Now you want to talk about X's and O's? That's what JJ Redick could get. Now that would be worth seeing, because Rodman could tell you how to defend LeBron. He could tell you how to defend. Rodman would be great for stuff like that. He didn't want to ever taps him as far as defending what he could do, how he worked against Karl Malone, how he worked against Shaq, Sean Kemp, the different stories, how he could get up under people's skin. You know, they'll never talk about that. He's good, but no one's gonna touch him. He's good, but he'll have to be on Zoom. No one's gonna touch him. He's untouchable now. He didn't make too many enemies. He would have been good if he had his own podcast. He would have been good. I'll give you that. No. They won't let it happen. They won't let it happen. They won't let it happen. It won't happen because then LeBron would contradict himself, and then Riddick would be considered a fraud, and he's to come out and have to apologize or because he disrespected that man. There's no turning back from that. No, I don't want to see Riddick with nobody because he didn't been bought and paid and sold. See, and them white boys ain't gonna sit there and get along with him no way because they're gonna defend what they did. They're not gonna tolerate him. They're not gonna tolerate him. Well, he's taking advantage of a situation where he just does what the powers that be do. They really don't want to go back more than they have to. I mean, if you pay attention which they're doing, they're trying to downplay Magic and Bird. Even though they know they have to acknowledge them, they're doing them by awards, but they're making it like it's senile and old timey. And Jordan, what they do is that they use people and they use them till they don't have to use them no more. It's going to be hard and far fetched to imagine this, but there'll be a time when LeBron will be used. And once they get tired of him in years' time, they're going to stop talking about him. He's playing the game, but it's a dangerous game because I don't think he understands the ramifications of what they do. They don't talk about Tim Duncan. They have to acknowledge Shaq because Shaq was the most successful big one in terms of crossover appeal. So they didn't do that to Bill Russell, so give him an award. They never did that to Will Chamberlain. That's on the streets. Kareem, it's out of respect. Hakeem is because of his skill set. But again, they don't usually do that for bigs. He's old, but he's also like the last piece of something that they want to glorify from high school. And he was the model that they want to use. Yeah, he's old in terms that they got their foreign market. They don't need him like with the Jokic's and Giannis and them if they get them. And if Luca comes up big, you know, but they still want to use him as a brand, you know. So it's a dicey call. It's a dangerous call too. Well, Steph's probably got about 2 or 3 more years after this year if he's healthy and motivated. I say 25,000 to 30,000 points. If he gets another ring with 25 to 30,000 points, he's on my top five ever. If he gets those two things, because he has to have the points and the 5 rings, which would be another MVP maybe. Yeah, I seen the highlights of it. Ant put you in the frame of mind of quite a few dudes, but more importantly, can his team win? People are getting hyped because, well, there's a few reasons at work. He's a very talented athlete, all around game player. He's an American player. And he's the kind of dude that, Jason Tatum aside, this is what they need, because they have stopped checking for brothers outside of a few places. So that's what they want. Let me see.
Did not score. And only had one shot attempt in that first half. Another turnover for Utah. Edwards gets it back. Hurt his hand on that too. That was ridiculous. Immediately looked down at his hand after the dunk. It's an and one. John Collins, he took a big time hit when Ant threw that down in his face. I mean, you can see the pain that he's in.
Okay, I saw that dunk. Oof. Yeah, he got spring in him. I mean, John Collins, like, boy, you want to stay back in Atlanta. Why would you even get in the way of that poster? I mean, why would you get in the way? I guess you hadn't really been paying him much mind. Yo, forget the dunk of the year. Maybe the dunk of this since 2020. Are you kidding? I haven't seen a ferocious dunk like that. I mean, the guy got crazy up. I mean, that's cold. I mean, that's like one of those kind of dunks where you just go, oh man. It's like, just get out the way. He just dunked over him like he was Winnie the Pooh, and he took his honey and his spoon. Oh man, that was brutal. As far as Zion goes, yeah, he's got crossover, but he's got to do something. It don't mean nothing if he don't do nothing. Yeah, he's freaky. He's giving me Vince Carterisms. He's giving me Vince Carterisms. And what's scary about him is that he can only get better. He can only get better. Yeah. When you can leap like that. And then the thing about it is he's got a nice all around game too. He's just really getting warmed up. He's just catching into his groove. He's gonna be a handful for time to come. He's gonna be a handful. See, the NBA needs someone like him to blow up. They need that. Then it won't look like it's fixed. You know, he's the one person who can get. He does. He if he gets an all around game, and again, he's in a situation that's ideal because Cat ain't the dude. Gobert can protect the box, but he got a chance to really make some inroads. So if he can get going, he's the one dude that can get in the way from Luka Doncic. And he could get in Shea's way too. He's the one. Jokic is already a made dude, but I'm talking about the guys coming up trying to make a name after Jokic. He's them, Luka, and Shea are battling for that next. So when you're battling for the next, you already know. Well, Shea. The only problem is because where he plays for. That's the same thing that works against Ant. Ant's dunks and theatrics is what's getting them attention. They're just playing a bad market. All these cats are in what you call low budget markets, except Luka's got little love in Dallas, but Jokic, Shea, Ant, they're playing in what we call real in the bushes markets. This is what Adam Silver hates right now, because all the best cats don't play in LA or Miami. I'm talking about Reverend, and you could say Boston with Tatum, but Tatum's not. Tatum is up there because of their record, but Tatum ain't oohing people like Ant. Tatum ain't oohing people like Luka. Tatum ain't catching you like Shea. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Numbers is good, but it's not the same. And you know good and well if Joel Embiid hadn't got hurt, he wasn't even in that argument either. So, just saying. But yeah, you're right about the free. You need to figure out the field goal percentage. That's true. It's not though, because guys can't play fundamental basketball. That's what we talk about all the time. When I talk about cats lacking fundamentals, they don't shoot good shots. If you spend half your time camping up behind a 3-point line, or you do drives and dunks, but you can't shoot 10-foot shots, you can't see. It's a lack of fundamentals. Guys don't shoot 12-foot. Even a guy like Richard Hamilton played today be averaging like 20 points without trying because he could shoot 10, 12-foot shots. They don't do that no more. So it's predicated on either on dunks or corner threes. You know, you have to be if you want to get on the floor for him. You have to. Spo ain't gonna go for that because just jacking up shots is just reckless and it's not healthy. But coaches and places don't hold people accountable. That's why everybody knows LeBron played his best basketball in Miami. Most important trait. Yeah. Well, solid fundamental players understand that. But again, we're not in the fundamental era. They don't teach it no more. They don't teach it no more. I bet you are. And did you need help last night to beat the Hawks? That's embarrassing. They ain't helping you out that much. You're still 10th seed, 9th, 10th seed. Yeah, that's all bought and paid for. That's what Adam Silver wants. He wants people to like, you know, mm-hmm. That's what he wants. I don't know what it's really like until I go without it. They did in the past. They ain't helping them out now. I give you that when they was to an extent. I mean, everybody that wins a chip was a title contending team. They help them out. That's nothing new. I don't think they're helping them out now because I don't think the Heat are really that good to be helped out. They just kind of strung it along. I want to see some real examples when they're playing. Let me see Jimmy Butler go to the free throw line 10, 12 times. Then I can agree with you. In what series? Not against the Spurs, they didn't. Spurs tore they behind up in them 5 games. What series would you say against the Pacers? Yeah, you probably could say that against the Pacers. I won't argue against that to an extent. No, not now. How you figure? In second place behind Orlando, 6, 7 seed. How you figure? Bam is not exactly getting 25 points a game. Jimmy Butler, when he's healthy, isn't exactly getting 25 to 30 points a game. So how you figure? I mean, they're not shooting a ton of free throws. The Lakers are getting more free throw shot attempts than anybody. So please explain. I'll give you 2014. I'll give you like if you mentioned the past. I can't say in recent memory because the Heat ain't. It's not like they're people calling them out saying, "Oh, well, that's your personal opinion." I don't see where the benefit. I mean, they're not a top seed team, so please help me understand where they've overtaken Milwaukee, they've overtaken Boston. Please make sense to me. I just don't see it. Most successful franchises do play dirty and get help. I can apply that to the Lakers. I can apply that to the Celtics. I can apply it to the Heat. You could have said it about Golden State with that hit on Kawhi Leonard, but Chuli hit him on the sideline, changed the whole course of that game and that series. So, what's the point? Because say the Spurs did the same thing. What's the point? People would say the 2001, 2002 against Sacramento. They would say that. They'd say Sacramento got robbed in that series. They'd say that. Can't say that any too many. Yeah, they did. They were allowed to. The '90s you can't count because the '90s everybody got to grab your jerseys and grab at you. That was a different era of basketball. There's a difference between the refs helping you out and then grabbing and playing a certain way. '90s basketball was about grabbing and cuffing and everything. It's a different era.
Now that I've gotten that off my chest, there's one more quick hitter I need to get to before I get to my man Jay Williams. Now, as brackets are getting filled out and billions of dollars are on the line for the big dance, there's another gambling story making headlines today, people. Superstar singer Bruno Mars has a string of hit songs. One of his most popular is called 24K Magic. In the air. I ain't gonna do that shit. In the song, Mars sings the lyric, I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Remember that?
Probably do.
That money may be gone if a recent report by News Nation is true. According to the article, Mars has had a long-term residency at the Park MGM, Las Vegas, for 8 years and has reportedly racked up $50 million in gambling debt. A source alleged that Mars takes home $90 million from his current deal with MGM and a recently launched cocktail lounge called the Pinky Ring at Vegas-based MGM property with Bellagio. Mars has talked in the past about his love for poker during an appearance on the show Call Queen Karaoke. In the end, let's be very clear. First of all, I'm a huge fan of Bruno Mars. Secondly, I think he's the closest thing to Michael Jackson. So let me say it. I never knew a damn thing about Bruno Mars until he performed at the Super Bowl by himself, and then followed that up with a performance with Coldplay and Beyonce, which to me was off the chain. And the fact that he's bringing in $90 million, how the hell are you bringing in $90 million and $50 million in debt? I don't understand. He's supposed to be $40 million in the green, not $50 million in debt. With $50 million in debt, that's 90 plus an additional 50, which comes up to about $140 million that you're throwing around. I don't understand this, but here's all I gotta say. For those of you that are looking at him and you're saying to yourself, excuse me, according to the reports, he makes about $1.5 million per show or whatever. Why are we stressing? Yeah, he might owe $50 million. Based on $1.5 million he might earn per show. That's just 33.3 shows. That's all he needs to do to erase that debt. Don't go to the damn poker table. Don't go to the blackjack table. Don't go to the slot machine for crying out loud, even if it's only asking for $1. Don't do it. Stay the hell out of the casino other than your performance. I'm tired of that. That's what, bro. All you gotta do is do about 33 and a half shows. 35 shows.
Oh, you must be hearing because I'm watching Stephen. I was hearing Stephen A. talking about Bruno Mars, and he's trying to downplay it. He's trying to make it so like it ain't addiction, which it is. I mean, uh, Kardashian did. They already did though, but crossed over to what, the 304. I mean, Bruno's a better artist than Usher. Yeah, no argument there. No argument. Considering his place and the hype that they give him, yeah. I mean, I do think Usher has some talent and stuff, but it just ain't fully reached. And I don't sit around really caring about him like that. Because he's one of those kind of artists that it, if only he had a, it's like you use your voice and you challenge yourself. Because it just doesn't get fully reached. That's the downside. Like that halftime show should have been one of the best ever. He had most of it right. He just didn't get those two fine points right. Just a couple parts he just didn't get. That's all.
Most people on this planet can't do that. Most people ain't Bruno Mars. He get way down. So I understand y'all looking at the 50 million, 50 million, 50 million.
Yeah, he had to have a trademark.
They say the brother pulling in 90 million per at MGM. I'm sorry, next year it might be 40 instead of 90. So you can pay off the 50 in debt.
He tried. It's a tribute,
My
though.
heart's broken. I mean, I'm just so stunned. I'm so stunned. Please, stop the nonsense. Let that man live his life with Bruno. It ain't good to make all that money you ain't got any of it to keep yourself, bro. When you look at the Vegas casinos, just think twice about going down there yourself. That's all. Send your boys to do it for you. Order room service. Chill out. Do something. Anything but gamble, Paul. Keep your money. Because as great as you are, I got news for you. You ain't gonna be able to perform like that forever. We all get old. Father Time is undefeated. Make sure your wallet's fat when that day comes for you. All right?
That was kind of a corny one. Who sounds like a hater? Who sounds like a hater? Oh well, yeah. What the problem I have with it, it ain't just like, oh, you perform 30 shows and you pay off your debt. The man needs help. Addiction is real. I mean, when people just say, "Oh, you just gonna shake it up and pay off your debts," he needs help. It's addiction. Stop thinking because of money that he'll just get back. Like he doesn't need help. You know, he needs help. Funny how I was like, "Oh, you'll just shake it off." That's not how it works. What's up, Luke Sterling? Glad you came through. It's not easy. People who just seem to think that you get up over something, you have situations that can cause you psychologically and spiritually to not function. It's not just like you just, are just gonna just end overnight. You need people in your corner. First of all, he's probably got like a lot of yes people, and the money's green. That's how cats always end up getting in trouble because no one ever tells them no. No one ever tells them, hey, you need to think twice about this. You need to do something. You know, it does. You're right about that. So you gotta be very, the higher you go, the more temptation there is, and people are thinking about their own vested interest. They're not thinking about you. So I would never tell nobody, hey, you just work it off, you'll be okay. No, you better put some prayers by him. But I expect Stephen A to say stuff like that though. So anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. It's been good. I've been here for like a couple hours plus, and so I'm gonna get on up, get ready to go eat. I will come back probably tomorrow. Appreciate everyone that came through. Appreciate thoughts, comments. Stay safe, stay warm, stay careful. And again, you know, uh, everybody's appreciated. Thank you always. Have a good night. I'm out.